Hi, I'm Siladitya.
And I'm Sanshey.
We are going to look into today's Apple event that's happening later at around 10:30 in the evening today.
Yeah.
So lots of big launches coming up, lots of new products. So we're going to talk about them. So Sanshey, can you tell us what are the expected products that you're going to see today?
Two things we know for sure is the cheaper 4-inch iPhone that we're going to see, which people are calling the 5SE. I don't know why, special edition. What's so special about a 4-inch phone? But yes, that's just Android people talking.
Okay.
And then the next one is the iPad Pro, which is going to be a smaller iPad Pro, not like the one that we recently saw, the atrociously expensive one.
Okay.
So those two are the ones for sure.
Okay.
There might be a new MacBook, who knows?
Okay. So, Apple has moved on to making bigger phones. So now there's all of a sudden a talk of a 4-inch iPhone. Any particular reason you think that has happened?
Yes, well, I know a lot of people who really like the 4-inch form factor. They used to make fun of my Android phones, like, why are you carrying a TV in your pocket and stuff. So there are a lot of people who like the 4-inch iPhone.
Yeah.
It makes sense to happen.
Yeah, and I would imagine it will also be significantly priced, at least cheaper, not significantly. With Apple, nothing is significantly cheaper.
It fell in that nice little bracket of 20,000, 25, maybe.
Yeah, probably there. So as with every big launch for Apple, the back catalog gets a major price cut. So that's also something that we're expecting.
Yeah, so 5S probably will get cheaper. It could go down as low as 15K, some people are saying.
Okay.
We can only tell once the phone is out.
So often with Apple launches, the big thing has been India hasn't figured anywhere there, right?
Yeah.
The big countries have been
the first wave of the iPhones that go out.
Goes to Europe, goes to North America, and now to China, which has become an important market. So we're actually expecting things to change at this event, right?
Not really. It might change after the Apple stores open, because that's how Apple kind of distributes its first wave. And since we don't have an Apple store, it's unlikely, but who knows, since the China market is kind of getting all saturated and India is still buying a lot of phones and at an increasing rate. So they really might consider it. Who knows?
Okay.
Through the partners.
What do you think would be sort of, if they are planning to launch a device that is the iPhone 5 SE or whatever they plan to call it, a 4-inch iPhone, what do you think will be the most aggressive price point at which they can sell to Indian customers? I want a sasta tikau phone, but I also want the snob value of an Apple phone. So, can you tell me?
I think anything between 25 and 30,000 for a 16GB model will do really well, because people really like to show off that Apple logo on the side when they're holding the phone.
Sure. So, I agree. I think people will be willing to pay about a 5,000, 10,000 rupee premium for an Apple logo on their phone. I think 25, 30,000. But, don't be surprised if it's more than that, right?
No, but again, going back to the previous point, a lot of people are actually still craving for a good 4-inch phone. A lot of people are not happy with the 5-inch rave that's on. Everyone's making a 4.7-inch or 5-inch phone. Some people really like the tiny phones which you can use with one hand. It's easy to use. So that might play in Apple's favor, because if this phone comes out, because we still don't know, if the 4-inch iPhone comes out today, it might just be the best 4-inch phone on the market. That's where they'll capitalize.
Sure. I think that is one area that currently is pretty blank. It's an open field.
There's nothing there.
Yeah. Okay. Beyond that,
iPad, and the iPad hasn't seen an upgrade for like 2 years. 2 years.
I think the iPad Air 2 was the last full form factor iPad that they had put out. So people talked a lot about the iPad Pro. Do you see that it has been a success? The original one, the big 12-inch one. Do you think it has been a success and that or a failure? And do you think that them releasing a 9.7-inch one is sort of accepting that the bigger model did not work?
Well, knowing Apple, they're always working a year ahead of their launch. So it's not. I don't think it's a contingency strategy. It's something they'd already thought of before, even before they'd launched the bigger iPad Pro. So I think it's just the direction that they're going into. They want iPads to take over the needs of people. It should cater to all your computation needs. You want to read, you want to use it for your mails, you want to use it for productivity. MS Office runs brilliantly on iPad now.
Okay, let's now talk about just specifically about the India focus, because
Yes.
you know we talked about how China was a big push like 2 years ago, right? That was where Apple is looking at. Now we have seen, Tim Cook met Modi this time when he had visited the US.
Of course it did.
Then a bunch of other things that happened along the way. Apple talked about now they talking about permissions to getting Apple stores in India.
Yeah.
So how do you think that's
Not just that, but also trying to get used phones to India so that they can sell refurbished iPhones.
This is actually you make an interesting point. So can we explain to our users what is a refurbished phone and why Apple is trying to bring it to India?
So a refurbished phone is basically a iPhone which someone's already used. So it's a used iPhone, and then Apple takes it back from them because of some defect or something. Then they fix that defect and then they sell it. So it's not a brand new iPhone. It's a used iPhone. They've already made the profit on it, and now they fix it and sell it again. So they're able to sell it at a much lower price from what.
Yeah, I think that's going to be
selling.
interesting.
It's going to be really cheap. So
it comes with a warranty from what?
Yeah, it has a Apple Care as well.
Yeah,
so you're covered for a year even though it's a used phone, which is great. I think.
Okay,
I'm sure people wouldn't mind if you're buying a phone just for the logo.
Yeah. Yeah, probably, instead of buying it from your local dealer where you don't know if it's in good shape or not, probably a low cost, reimbursed phone could be, refurbished phone could be interesting. I just like to say that the viewers can ask us questions if you have any questions about what's happening at the event. If you feel that there's something you want to know about the event, you can ask us if you want to. So I think we're getting some questions. What kind of price cuts are expected for older phones is one of the questions that we are being asked.
It's going to go down. It's expected to go down to $250, which is going to be how much?
$250 would I would imagine be about 20,000, something around that price.
But it's already at 20,000.
So maybe it'll drop a little below that, 18,000.
Or who knows, it might not even drop.
Okay.
So we're not pretty sure that we'll see a price cut.
Price cut in India, actually, yeah.
Especially in India because it's already selling it. No, actually $250 is 16,000 rupees. So yeah.
So I mean, maybe around 17,000.
Yeah.
But the 5S is already selling for a pretty low price in India.
I recently saw it at 18,000 rupees.
Yeah,
which is insane.
I think one of the differences in India is that you have Flipkart, Snapdeal, and all always running deals.
Yeah.
So you'll always be able to get a low cost device. We have another question: what to expect from the new iPad?
Stereo speakers. Yes.
Yes, I think that's a big thing. iPad, if you have used an iPad, music on it is a terrible experience, right? So I think that will be there. What it will do is essentially take the big iPad Pro and shrink it down to that size.
They're busy bloating it up now. They shrink it down.
Anything on the watches, like a new watch maybe?
Unlikely. They're still kind of figuring it out, I guess. The Apple Watch, there might be new additions to the Apple Watch, new features, because they've built in a lot of hardware on that thing, and they've not still used it or found a way to get more people to use the Apple Watch.
And obviously, where will people be able to watch it? Because the thing about Apple events, they're not easy to find where to watch the stream and everything like that. So first of all, I think you'll be needing an Apple device in all likelihood.
Yeah, you do. If you have a MacBook or an iPhone.